All right, so for this video, we're going to be solving this equation that we have here. Now, when it comes to solving equations, there is a general process that we use. If you have any fractions, we take care of that first by clearing them. If you have parentheses, you're going to distribute. Then we're going to combine like terms, then isolate the variable. And almost always the last step is to divide out the coefficient. So taking a look at the equation that we have here, we don't have any fractions in the problem, but we do have parentheses. And kind of similar to order of operations, if we have parentheses, we're going to start there. So the two sets of parentheses that we have, in an equation, they mean to distribute. Taking a look at the set of parentheses that we have here, we have a minus on the outside of the parentheses. That is like saying that there is a -1 there. What that means is we're going to take this negative and we're going to distribute it into everything on the inside of the parentheses. So, focusing on the left side for right now, I'm going to take this y and just drop it down for right now, while we focus on distributing that negative. Negative times 6 makes that a -6, and negative times negative y, negative times negative is positive, and that's going to be a y. And that is going to equal to, on the right side here, we also have a set of parentheses, and we have the 8 sitting on the outside. That means we're going to take this 8 and multiply it to everything on the inside. Now, 8 times y, a number and a letter are not the same thing, so we can't actually multiply them together, so we just put them together. 8 times y is 8y, plus 8 times 4 is 32. Now, after we distribute, we want to look for like terms. Now, when we look for like terms, we're looking for like terms on either side of the equal sign. So taking a look at the left side, we're looking for like terms, and we have one set of like terms. We have this y and this y. Now, remember, this is 1y and 1y. So when we combine them together, 1y plus 1y is 2y. And that -6 is just going to drop down. Taking a look at the right-hand side, there are no like terms. A y is not the same thing as a number, so the right side will just drop down. Which brings us to our isolate the variable step. Now, when we isolate the variable, we want to get our variable alone on one side of the equation, our number on the other. So we need to do a little bit of rearranging here. And when we do rearranging in an equation, we always want to do the opposite calculation of what we have. Opposite of a plus is a minus. Opposite of multiplication is division. So what we want to do is we want to group our y's together, and we want to group our numbers together. And we want our variable to be on one side, our number to be on the other. So I always like to take care of the variables first. I have a 2y here and an 8y here. And what I want to do is I want to join them together as one. So I typically take the smaller number and move it with the bigger one. So I want to take this 2y and join it with this 8y. When you move things from one side of the equation to the next, you do the opposite calculation of what you have. This 2y is positive, so if I want to move this 2y from the left to the right, I need to get rid of it by doing the opposite. So opposite of a positive 2y is a negative 2y. And what you do to one side of an equation, you must do to the other. So I'm also going to subtract 2y on that side. Now, on the left side, 2y minus 2y cancels, and we drop down that -6. On the right-hand side, we had 8y. Subtracting 2y from it makes that a 6y. And then drop down the plus 32. Now, since I chose to put my variable on the right-hand side of this equation, that means I want to take my numbers and move them to the left. Again, variable on one side, numbers on the other. So that variable is going to stay put there while I get rid of this 32. Now, this is a positive 32. So the opposite of a positive 32 is a negative 32. And if I'm going to subtract it on the right side, I have to subtract it on the left side. Now, on the right side, 32 minus 32 is 0. That goes away, leaving us with 6y. And on the left side, we had a -6, and we're subtracting a 32 from it. So -6 minus 32 gives us a -38. Last step, almost always, is to divide out the coefficient. So here we have 6y. Remember, this is 6 times y. So the opposite of multiplication is division. On the right side, 6 divided by 6 cancels, leaving us with y. And on the left-hand side, we have -38 divided by 6. Now, 38 does not divide evenly by 36, so we can't divide this out to a whole number. But what we can do is we can simplify this. So let's see, what goes into 38 that also goes into 6? I believe 2 is going to work here. So negative 38 divided by 2 is what, a negative 19? And 6 divided by 2 is 3. So it looks like we are left with a negative 19 thirds as our final answer here. Otherwise, that's it for this video.